Lindsay Foreman says she is keeping sane by reading, doing laps of the prison yard, and when she can, practicing yoga. Exercise, she says, has always been her salvation. But after 16 months in jail in Iran, Lindsay admits she is struggling.
Brazil's Congress has overturned a veto of a bill that would dramatically reduce former President Jair Bolsonaro's prison sentence for plotting a coup after he lost the last election. Last year, Bolsonaro was sentenced to 27 years in jail for his attempt to cling to power after losing the 2022 elections to Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva.
The interruption to supplies of fertiliser and its key ingredients due to the war in Iran could cost up to 10 billion meals a week globally and will hit poorest countries hardest, according to the boss of one of the world's biggest fertiliser producers. Svein Tore Holster, chief executive of Yara, told the BBC that hostilities in the Gulf, which have blocked shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, are jeopardising global food production. Athens, Greece, when the Conservative New Democracy Party came to power in Greece in 2019, it promised a work-driven economy that would grow by 4% a year and elevate living standards after a decade of austerity. In an appeal to the productive non-state economy, Kyriakos Mitsotakis became Prime Minister, asking Greeks to work together to build a new compact of trust based on meritocracy, industriousness, security, justice, opportunities for everyone.
Oil prices are spiking again as efforts to resolve the Iran war remain at an impasse, with Tehran continuing to block the Strait of Hormuz and the United States Navy blockading Iranian ports and exports of Iranian crude. On Friday, Brent crude, the international benchmark, was up 89 cents at 111.29 a barrel by 08 GMT, compared with about $65 before the US, and Israel began strikes on Iran on February 28. Overall, the Brent benchmark was poised for a 7% gain over the week, the Reuters news agency reported. President Javier Milei has recently sharpened his rhetoric on Argentina's claim to the British-controlled Falkland Islands at a time when his close relationship with United States President Donald Trump and the latter's mounting tensions with the United Kingdom have drawn attention to the future of the contested territory. Trump and Milei have met several times. The Argentinian leader is a regular feature at conservative pro-Trump political gatherings in the US. Trump has previously described Milei, a far-right populist leader of the Liberty Advances Party, as his favorite president.
And hundreds of protesters have clashed with emergency workers in a remote Australian town after police arrested a man suspected of murdering a 5-year-old Indigenous girl. Police say about 400 people gathered at Alice Springs Hospital in the Northern Territory, where the suspect was taken on Friday after locals beat him until he was unconscious. And the Donald Trump administration has argued that a key May 1 deadline it faces to secure congressional approval for the US-Israel war on Iran no longer matters because of the ongoing ceasefire with Tehran. Once the president notifies the United States Congress about a war, he has a 60-day deadline under the War Powers Resolution to get lawmakers to greenlight the campaign or withdraw forces involved in hostilities.
The City Traffic Police Lahore have finalised comprehensive traffic management arrangements for the Pakistan Super League PSL Season 11 match between Islamabad United and Hyderabad Kings, scheduled to be played on Friday at Gaddafi Stadium. Chief Traffic Officer, CTO Lahore Syed Abdul Rahim Shirazi said around 600 traffic wardens will perform duty to ensure smooth flow of traffic and facilitate cricket fans.
And Punjab Chief Minister Maryam Nawaz Sharif on Friday digitally inaugurated Pakistan's first Rahmat card programme, under which financial assistance will be provided to 50,000 widows and orphan children across the province, according to a detailed briefing by advisor to CM Punjab on Zakat and Ushra, Rashid Nasrullah. A record amount of $5 billion has been allocated from the provincial Zakat fund for the initiative.
This festival season is proving to be a particularly eventful one for Pakistani filmmakers, and another player has entered the arena at the Busan International Short Film Festival in South Korea. Saman Kamran premiered her experimental short film The Bed She Made at BIS-F on April 24 as part of a showcase of 5 films by Asian directors dealing with corrosive forces often embedded within social structures. It is the only Pakistani film to play at the festival this year. It follows Ali Sohail Jarua's Murder Tong, screened at the festival in 2022. Islamabad. Power Minister Awais Leghari on Friday declared the end of a month-long load-shedding period after a shipment of liquefied natural gas, LNG, arrived in Pakistan a day earlier. The Power Minister made the announcement in a recorded televised message, saying that the recent power outages were caused by a gas shortage linked to the war between the US and Iran and were not the result of incompetence or system failure.
And the US has imposed sweeping sanctions on former Democratic Republic of Congo President Joseph Kabila, accusing him of backing the M23 rebel group. Washington alleges he provided financial support, encouraged defections from the Congolese army, and even sought to launch attacks on the military from outside the country.
Britain's King Charles III came to the United States to mark Britain's loss in the War of Independence. He left when his 7-year-old monarch faced a number of possible pitfalls from a bombastic US president known for creating controversy and generating headlines at the lowest moment for US-UK relations in modern history.
And a man has been charged with attempted murder after 2 Jewish men were stabbed in London in what police described as a terrorist incident. The 2 men, aged 76 and 34, were stabbed in Golders Green, North London, on Wednesday.
Workers are gathering in cities around the world to mark International Labour Day, with some demonstrations, such as those in Istanbul, Turkey, turning to scuffles with police. Trade unions are calling for solidarity and the protection of workers' rights as the United States-Israeli war on Iran and rising energy costs raise concerns about the global economy. At least 44 Iranian seafarers have been killed and 29 injured since the start of the United States-Israeli war on Iran, according to the head of Iran's Merchant Marine Union. The list of fatalities includes 22 civilian sailors, 16 fishermen and 6 dock workers killed between February 28th and April 1. Iranian Merchant Mariners Syndicate General Secretary Saman Rezai told Al Jazeera on Friday.
Liverpool manager Arne Slot said Mohamed Salah deserves a big send-off as he confirmed he expected the departing superstar to return from injury before the end of the season. The Egypt forward, who will leave Anfield at the end of the campaign, was forced off in last weekend's 3-1 win at home to Crystal Palace, prompting fears he may have played his final game for the Reds.
A new and potentially irreversible law in the United States is being developed which would significantly change the long-standing rule of birthright citizenship for children born to Pakistani and other foreign nationals on US soil. A US senator has introduced a constitutional amendment aimed at ending automatic citizenship for anyone born in the country, arguing that the current interpretation of the 14th Amendment has been misapplied.
And Japanese police arrested a man for allegedly incinerating his dead wife at the zoo where he worked. Officials and local media said Friday, following the discovery of human remains. Police arrested Tatsuya Suzuki on Thursday evening on suspicion that he transported the victim's body to a tourist facility in the northern island of Hokkaido. and destroyed it through incineration there, a local police official told AFP.
Miransha. An intense exchange of fire erupted on Friday between members of the Pehel tribe and militants in Miransha, the district headquarters of North Waziristan, following the killing of tribal elder Malik Saifullah Khan Dawar. Police said, according to details, unidentified gunmen shot Saifullah outside his residence, triggering a fierce clash as armed tribesmen confronted the militants. Both sides reportedly used automatic weapons, and the exchange of fire continued for several hours.
And Islamabad. Pakistan reported 2 polio cases on Friday from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, KP bringing the total number of cases for the ongoing year to 3. An official of the Pakistan Polio Eradication Programme, speaking on condition of anonymity, said that the National Emergency Operations Centre for Polio Eradication has confirmed 2 new cases of wild polio virus, one in Bannu and another in North Waziristan. And Oscar winner Pavel Talankin was forced to check his golden statuette for his documentary Mr. Nobody Against Putin at a New York airport, and now it's missing. Talankin says he had the Academy Award in his carry-on bag for a flight to Germany on Wednesday, but airport security stopped him at John F. Kennedy International Airport because they said the award could be used as a weapon.
China will scrap tariffs for all African countries from Friday, except Eswatini, which maintains ties with Taiwan. As of December 2024, China had already implemented a duty-free policy for 33 least developed African nations. The policy now covers 53 countries and will be in place until 30 April 2028. It is unclear what will happen after that.
And as the stalemate between Washington and Tehran drags on and the world waits in hope of a deal, the very real possibility of an alternate outcome, the resumption of war, looms overhead. The clock is ticking, with Friday as the anticipated deadline for Pakistan to receive Iran's revised peace proposal after US President Donald Trump rejected a previous version. And violent crowds clashed with police outside a hospital in a remote Australian outback town Thursday night as they demanded authorities hand over an accused child killer. Dramatic footage showed police officers dodging rocks and sticks while rioters smashed police cars and set a police van on fire. Officers can be seen shooting rounds of tear gas at the crowd, with some smoking canisters picked up and thrown back. And the United Kingdom's Metropolitan Police have charged a man with attempted murder following an investigation into the stabbing of 2 Jewish men in Golders Green, North London. Following the stabbings in a residential area of the UK capital on Wednesday, officials raised the national terrorism threat to its second highest level, signalling that an attack within the next 6 months is highly likely.
Ukraine used its latest technology to deepen strikes against Russian oil storage, ports and refineries in the past week, bombing targets in the Urals 600 kilometres, 990 miles from its borders and prompting protests about terrorist attacks from the Kremlin spokesman. President Volodymyr Zelensky on Wednesday announced a new stage in the use of Ukrainian weapons to limit the potential of Russia's war.
And more commercial flights have been departing from Iran's largest airport following its reopening last week. Iranian authorities announced the resumption of flights at Imam Khomeini International Airport after approximately 58 days of suspension since the launch of the US-Israel war on Iran. Flight information boards also went offline after the closure of Iran's airspace.
US pop star Britney Spears on Thursday was charged with driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs. Prosecutors outside Los Angeles said, but she could avoid jail time with a plea deal. The criminal complaint does not specify which substance the 44-year-old singer was allegedly using when she was arrested in early March.